Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Railroad Tiles. This is the desert expansion, so this is definitely going to be a little bit different from a place that has towns and fields and railroads and stuff, because we're going to have something completely different. As we're going to see in the tiles here, so we have the tiles. You actually notice there aren't any regular roads or railroads on here. And then we have our objectives, and of course we have a bunch of these little buildings, so we have some camels. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this is all going to pan out. We have our little camel miniatures there. I didn't even notice when I first looked at these. They have little eyeballs. That's really fun. I kind of wish I had both camels, like the double and the single hump would have been kind of neat, but, you know, I'm not going to complain about that. Alright, so what do we have in here? We have our 44 desert route tiles, our 12 desert objective tiles, and like always, each desert objective tile will have 4 copies of each. We have 3 camel placement tokens. We have ways to replace our other pawns with tokens instead, and 40 desert station tokens, and 30 pawns, camel pawns, and our 1 bag. So our bag here, I'm using the yellow orangish one. Shuffle all desert route tiles inside the expansion bag. Like usual, all camel pawns and desert station tokens to the general pool. And remove the 3 placement tokens with the train pinpoints. From the game. And shuffle the camel placement tokens. Ooh. So that's a little switch up, because typically you just remove the ones without the flags on them, and you just place the flag ones. So this is actually removing all the train ones. So you're actually not going to be able to get trains at all in this game. Well, you'll be able to still get trains, but you'll have less of them. No, it's the same amount. You're just replacing all your trains with other ones. So very different indeed. Alright, then we have, of course, our round setup. So when you reveal the route tiles, you always set them up in the same way as normal for the same number. You just put an expansion 1 at the bottom. The exception of the 1 gets double, because you always want to be able to draw stuff from the core set, so you make sure you get enough there. For our desert tiles identified by the background, which is kind of like the tannish color, have empty sides, in addition to which is all the regular rules apply, so you can place a desert next to an empty field or whatever else, as long as it's not a road. They also have desert trail sides. You can connect to other desert trail sides or to railroad highway sides, see desert station placement. Okay, so there's our little desert stations. Let's see how those work. So desert placement tile. When you place your first desert route tile of the game, it can be placed freely. All falling tiles course our desert must have at least one side connected to the tile of the same kind. Okay. Interesting. Alright, user must be placed next to at least one other desert tile. Okay, so you place your first one, it can be placed anywhere, right? Next to any town, city, whatever. Forest, however you want to run it into there. But then the new one has to be placed next to at least one other desert tile, and then all the towns and stuff have to be placed next to each other. So how do we connect these? If you connect the desert trail side to a railroad or highway side, you must immediately place a desert station token. Active stations connecting the desert trail networks to other kinds of routes. So my guess would be like, so that's for like, I played this one first, I connected it immediately. Now I played this one. Then now if I play my next one here, that's where I'm going to have to keep connecting them. Although I can't. I mean, I could, but then I'm going to have this road that's not going to make sense. Unless I turn it a different direction. I guess I could turn it the other way. Might not fit. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Then we have camel placement pawns. For each placement cone in the active area that displays a camel icon, you may place 1 camel pawn from the general pool on any tile that has a matching pinpoint. When you place a tile, you immediately score 1 point for each desert station connected to that camel, only through desert trails. Okay, note pawn starts Star pawns also used to place camels. Okay, so that would... I don't know if they're going to show that on here. Yeah, so like... On the end on here says... Let's look at final scoring. Landmarks. Desert tiles may feature many landmarks connected to the desert trail. There are 4 types of landmarks: oases, pyramids, obelisks, and sphinxes. At the end of the game, every landmark connected to at least one desert station is considered active. You score points for each set of different active landmarks depending on its size. Landmarks do not need to be connected to each other to be part of the same set. They just need to be connected to a desert station. Multiple sets can be scored. Each landmark can be counted only towards one set. So one landmark is 1 point, 2 is 3 points, 3 is 6 points, and 4 is 10 points. Opening penalties. Desert trails with openings do not count towards the number of openings at the end of the game. So you can leave your deserts alone. Okay, interesting. So at the end of the game, Paul has 5 landmarks. So the big giant blue things on here. So you see big blue landmarks on there. So it could be like that. It could be the sphinxes. Very easy to tell them apart. So there's 5 landmarks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 of which are active. The oasis is not connected. Oh yeah, the oasis is not connected via the station. So we have a station right here. So it goes to this one. It can take this road to that one. It can take this road up to that one. It's those 4, but this one, because it's off to the side. Now, if you would have placed one more tile there, it would have connected these 2 roads. Then that would have been connected to that station. Okay, cool. So it's kind of neat. Your desert's not going to be like encroaching necessarily in your town, but you can eventually wrap around it. So it has 3 landmarks, so it gets 6 points, and 1 point for... and a set of landmarks for a pyramid. You score points for any game landmarks such as at least 1 station. Score points for each set of different active landmarks depending on your size. Landmarks do not need to be... Four landmarks in two sets of different landmark tiles. A set of 3 landmarks, pyramids being obelisks for 6 points, and a set of landmark pyramids for 1 point. Okay, I get where we're getting the 3 and the 2 from. The 3 separate ones. So you have a set of each one. So you have a set of 3 landmarks. You're going to get them. Multiple sets for each landmark only counted towards 1 set. That's what I don't get though. Multiple sets can be scored, but each landmark can only counted towards 1 set. So at the end of the game, he has 5 landmarks, 4 of which are active. So that could be active. He has 4 landmarks in 2 sets of different landmark tiles. So instead of 3 landmarks, so 1 of each one, he gains that. Oh, okay, I get it. So it's because... Well, he should have gotten a set of landmarks for pyramids. So if you have 2 landmarks of the same thing together, you gain 3 points. If you have 3 different landmarks together, you gain 3 points. If you have all 4, you gain that. Okay, so why doesn't he score just 1 for the 1 point though? Instead of 3 landmarks. Oh, okay, yeah, so he does. So he gets, my bad, I understand this now. So he gets 1, 2, 3, says 3 different landmarks counted, so he gets 3 points. And then he has 1 more landmark in there by itself. So he gets 1 point. Now, if he would have had another, if he had all 4 of them connected, he could have gotten 4 points. So it's for each set. So if you have only one one landmark by itself, you get that. If you have 2 different ones, they count as you have 3 different ones. You have all 4 different ones, you get up to 10 points. You could potentially, if you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if you have 10 total in there, you could potentially get points for all of them. Gotcha. Okay, that's a little confusing. Basically, it wants you to check for how many more. So check to see if you have 4 different landmarks. If you have all 4, you score 10 points. And if you have 3 different landmarks, you score 6. Now, you can't count those 3 anymore, so you can't count these 3. Then you'll check to see if you have 2 other ones that are connected. You don't, and you check if you only have 1 that's not connected. That's different. Okay, cool. So then we have our objectives we'll look at too. We have Desert Temple, Desert Market, and Great Oasis, and we'll look at our challenges. I just want to come back up to the camels quick. So, when you place a camel, we score 1 point for each desert station connected to that camel only through desert trails. So if we jump back down to our picture here, so like when they first placed for each desert trail, so like when they first placed a camel, we got a point for this one because it's connected to a desert station. They would have gotten 1 for that one. But then if we looked at this one down here, they wouldn't have gotten 1 for that because there's no trail, there's no station attached to it. Okay, just so we understood how all those work. Alright, let's take a look at the tiles. Alright, so let's look at our different tiles. So first of all, we have our tokens here. So you're going to replace all the train ones. So you'll have the train with the flag, the train without the flag, and then the train with the car. That now also adds a camel to it. So it's not actually changing anything in the game. That's the nice thing about these expansions. It's basically you're adding these in here. They're not changing. They're just adding the extra tiles in there. But now if you try and mix this with another expansion, that's where you're going to end up with troubles with this one. Because like all the other ones, is basically you just get rid of the flag one or the non-flag ones for the other ones. So you just have an extra tile token in there, I guess, if you wanted to swap the one out. The train one. But it might start off the timer a little bit differently, but you just play an extra round, however you want to do it. Mixing expansions can always get kind of wonky. So if you do that, that's kind of up to you. Might as well house rule stuff. Of course, we have all our little camels, which we can stack on top of each other if we would like. And then we have our desert stations, which are all double-sided. Okay, zoom in a little bit more on there. So yeah, they're all the same little buildings, little desert hut. So that's kind of fun that they sit in there. All right, then let's take a look at our actual tiles. So we're gonna start with just some desert 4-way. Now there are no just blank deserts, so everything is always gonna have a desert trail in it. So you're not gonna have to worry about placing a desert somewhere on the board. It's just gonna be just blank and kind of in the way. So we do have 4 of these, but it looks like they all have the same artwork on them. Of course, they're always double-sided. Then we have a lot of them with monuments, but we'll get to those in just a moment. We have some more just trails. So we have a dead end that has a camel. We have one with a car and one with a traveler. So even though, again, the artwork on each one of these are the same, some of them are the same. It's not even that big of a deal. Like each different tile set has a different artwork on it at least. Then we have a straight road with a camel, a traveler, and a car. So if you really don't like to play the railroads a lot, this might be a great one for you. You still get railroads from your regular set, but we have the corner, which I love how it's a weird curvy corner instead, the water, and then the car. And then we'll have these split roads, which I don't even know if we have any of these in the core set, or not many. I guess they're corners. We usually have corners. I'm thinking like regular round corners, and these aren't round corners. But yeah, these are 2 corner spaces. Then we have the T highway, or the T roads, which will have 3 of them that have camels, and then we have a person and a car. So we're going to get a lot more pinpoints on this stuff. Then we get into our monuments. Do they call them monuments, or am I just thinking because of the monument expansion that I just looked over? Landmarks. They are called landmarks. So we have the obelisk in the four-way. We have 2 of those. We have 2 for the Sphinx. We have 2 for the pyramids. And we have two of them for an oasis. So we have doubles of each of them, and all the rest was just a single of each. So we have a single dead end with a camel point into each one of the 4 landmarks. We have a straight road with a little offshoot into each landmark. We have a corner that goes into each landmark. And then finally, we have the double corners, which each one has a different pinpoint. So that one has the camel, this one has a car, this one has a camel, and this one has a person. It's a very, very interesting set. Kind of neat because, like, all the other ones so far, when you're getting them, you're building them, and then you can, like, move them around it, like, in between your other stuff, and have them, like, in the middle of it, have them just on the outskirts, have them in one corner. Where the desert here, once you start building this, you're stuck kind of building it on the outside. You can't start another desert across the other part of the map, or your border, or whatever. You kind of have to play it all in one area. But what is neat, though, is you could potentially wrap it all the way around if you really try and wrap it around your city and just play a lot of desert tiles. I just don't know if you get enough desert tiles to do that. But maybe that's an interesting idea to play for some of these challenges. Is instead of having 2 core and 1 expansion, is try playing a 2 expansion and 1 core, and then maybe you're building more of the west of the city and more of the forest or the desert, or whatever, or the farmland. Be kind of interesting to see. So variations could be cool. So the first one we have is the desert temple. So there's the big old building here on it. These are our objectives. So our desert temple says the desert temple must be connected to at least 4 landmarks. They do show pyramids, but the pyramids are any landmarks. This has 2 corner spots on it. And again, connected doesn't mean it has to be necessarily next to it. It just has to be on the same road. So obviously you're placing these out in the desert, so it's probably going to happen. Then we have the desert market, where we have to go look for the lamp. Desert market must be a continuous path of at least 5 connected desert trail segments. In case of looping past, the same desert trail segment cannot be counted more than once. Just a continuous path. It could go through a station, except here there wouldn't work because it can't go through a station into a town. It just has to basically have 5 tiles that are all connected to each other. So what it means is you have to have 5 of these like this. You could have another one down here and go all the wrap around. Or if we went like this way, you could wrap up around the top and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you could have 1, 2, 3, 4. But then you couldn't count this one a second time if you looped it back into there. But you wouldn't be able to have one up here and one like this and have it wrap around the bottom and then count that tile because it's not connected. So kind of just simple understanding, but I can somehow see these things get confused. Then the last one we have is the Great Oasis, which is a mirage. Oh, there's a little dot in there by the little building on the side. It's kind of fun. The Great Oasis must have at least 2 camels on the tile that surround it. This tile counts as an oasis landmark. Ooh, that's fun too. That's a nice little interesting thing. I can even see some of these things like potentially making expansions for these expansions, right? Like a little mini extra bonus. I don't know how you'd sell it because it'd be like if you don't own the expansion and you bought like a pack as 5 extra things, they'd be useless unless you own the expansion. We could see something like this that has like a new objective tile, right? That adds something with the pyramids in there, or one that has a different goal for the camels. That'd be kind of a fun, it'd almost be a fun little thing if you just if they even made some blank tiles, you could make your own objectives or something. It'd be kind of cool. Alright, that's what we have for that. Let's take a look at our solo challenges really quick. We have Sharp Boundary. All desert tiles are adjacent to regular route tiles are in a single row or column of your play area. A single row or column. Oh, so you want to have like a straight, like a desert path versus like a oasis desert or flowing desert. The Lost Road. Every landmark in your player is a part of a single orthogonal adjacent group. They don't need to be connected to just adjacent. Oh, neat. So you have to just have them all near each other. And then the Desert of Death. Each desert tile contains a pawn card tile where tile must be orthogonal to at least one regular route tile. Oh, neat. So you have to, like, build your desert surrounding your town versus, like, expanding it out. Cool. So some really neat stuff there. I even almost wonder if some of these... I don't know if the solo challenges would really work for regular play just because you don't have access to as many tiles. For solo, you have access to more tiles. But yeah, definitely very interesting expansion. Building it outwards versus being able to build wherever. Plus not having there's no extra roads or railroad tiles. So as you're building this, you're basically either building your town on one hand and you're building your desert on the other. So you have like 2 mini boards. This reminds me very much of the Railroad Inc. Meteor set. Or lava set. Sorry, the lava set, which had the same idea. You're building lava off to the side, but like you couldn't. The lava didn't have anything to build into, so it's basically just lava flowing over your board. This should be the very similar idea to that. Cool. That's what we have for this one. Hit me up in the comments. Check out the description for the rest of the expansions. See you guys later. Bye.